Hi everybody! So today I'm going to show you guys how to make this really cool photo with this kind of grime art zombie style on Photoshop where you're drawing over an image. So I used my Wacom tablet, but you can also do this with a mouse and pad if you don't have a tablet or an iPad or anything. So the first thing you want to do is set up your JPEG as your background image, create a new layer, and get your brush size in order. I'm picking, I think I did about 30 pixels, and then I'm making my brush black, and I'm setting my smoothing to about 50% because you really want your lines to flow and not be like jagged. I also just tapped there my pressure sensor. That's great if you have a tablet. If you have a mouse, you can't use that, but it'll be okay. So the first thing you want to do is outline the face, and you're going to outline it normally, but you're also going to add in fun little drips on the outside of it. You definitely want to do varying sizes and sort of intensities of drips, like different shapes, and just make it really ooey and gooey. That the more fun you have with it, the more fun and exciting it's going to be. Because she's got her hands up, I also decided to make her hands kind of zombie-like, which was new for me, but I just did the similar style of tracing them, adding on some fun gooey drips there at the bottom onto her sleeve. Once you finish outlining the face with black, the next thing you're going to do is go in and draw in the major facial features. The eyebrows, you're going to outline the eyes, and the nose. So next you're going to want to start drawing on the drips and just get really goopy with it on their face. Lines, you can draw little bumps, little nubbies, anything to just be goopy. You also here want to add in under eye bags. That's like just a total fun zombie element. And you can give those their own little lines too. And really have fun with it. Try to get different like weights of line and very much different shapes of goop, if you will. Here I realized for the colors, it actually works better if your under eye things are connected. And yeah, they can have their own little goopy lines. Add it on the hands too. Get real drippy with it. The next step, once you've finished doing your outlines, you're going to make a new layer and put that under your outlines layer, and that'll be your colors. It's really important it's under the outline layer and not on top of it, so that you're not covering any of your black marks with color. You're just going under it. And so then you want to color in your eye bags and your lips with some funky color, and then go in with, you know, whatever goopy skin tone you choose. I did green, and green and like a kind of salmon. You can paint it in by hand. I did the fill tool. Then you want to color in your eyes with a white or a black. You could definitely do another color, but I think white and black work best for eyes. They're just kind of funky. And you can see I did the hands in a slightly different color. And don't forget the fingernails. So once you finish your color layer, next you want to create highlights and shadows. So you do that by making a new layer and setting the blending mode of your new layer to soft light. And what that's going to do is take whatever black and white marks you make on that layer and just set them as a darker and lighter version of whatever color is underneath them. So it's perfect for creating shadows. So you can see I've got it set to black and I'm coming in to start shadows. And you just want to go around each line where you find the natural shadows to be. Here I turned off my color and I'm using the actual photo to try and figure out where shadows are. That's a great little tip. And you also want to make sure that your shadows are starting and ending under the black lines. It just looks a lot better when they're sort of hidden and not like free-floating shadows. And then just go in and do all your little lumps and then switch your color to white and go in and do the highlights. Again, I'm using the photo to figure out where those highlights are. For a photo like this, there should be less highlights than shadows. I think that's kind of standard with this cartoony style. The shadows are going to be more important in defining the shape. Once you finish with your highlights, you're done with the zombie part, but I really wanted to come in and do a fun background. So I created a layer and started drawing in some sort of goop back there. This process should be the same. I made a little mistake on my Photoshop. That will be a problem later, but you can see here, yeah, just adding in the goop. I had some on drip, some on her shoulders. And then I started outlining the box. I felt like that would be a fun graphic element to outline that box. I guess I should explain, she is in a box. It was a weird photo shoot, but then I started filling in the colors here. I used the fill tool to fill them all in, and then I'm filling them in on the same layer as the black. And again, it's not ideal to do that because you're gonna have to do what I'm doing here, where you can see I'm drawing around the black and I'm like trying not to mess it up, but obviously when you come in with a new color, it will cancel out the black and it makes the lines skinnier and look weird. So if you can, try to keep the color on a different layer. It works much better. But that's what I did here. And that is it. And that is our zombie photo all locked and loaded. The first project really uses drawing in the foreground, and I wanted to show you how you can draw and then have it be in the background of your image, and it's just a little bit more complicated. So I've got this photo here of when my friend dressed up as Adam Sandler for Halloween, so I wanted to add in an Adam Sandler quote behind it. So the first thing I did was make a layer and just draw in some lines to guide my text. Then I just hand drew this quote from Adam Sandler that I felt was incredibly appropriate. And I did that on a different layer than the lines so that I can quickly and easily remove the lines. I filled it in with the fill tool, then realized I needed it to say Adam Sandler at the bottom. So I went in, drew another line and more text on the text layer, filled it all in. Cool, and then once you remove the lines, that's solid. Now we need to figure out how to bring our subject to the front so that Riley is in front of the text. So the first thing you want to do that is go to your background image and select your subject, copy, create a new layer, and paste that onto your new layer. That's going to make your subject its own little layer. Perfect. Then you want to mask that, remove the background, and get just your subject. I use the select subject tool, which is pretty good. I'm not crazy about it, but then I went and did a little masking of my own. Pro tip, you can also go in and if you select the mask, you can use black and white and the paint tool to edit your mask, which is what I'm doing here, which is just a little bit easier than trying to do it in the mask setting. So once I'm happy with the shape of my subject, I bring it to the top in front of the text layer, and there he is, a living legend, Adam Sandler himself. Cool. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope you learned something.